talk today about search, social, and video. We're going to try to be as tactical and specific as possible, as many take-home ideas as possible for the audience. We have an amazing lineup of panelists, and I want to start just by having you guys introduce yourselves. So,
Sure.
Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Nickel. I'm actually going for looks least like his headshot. That's also a joke. For the record, yeah, I know. I'm sitting on a hype stool. It's from Supreme. Most recently, I'm actually an advisor and a consultant currently. Most recently, I was at Greats, a Brooklyn-based sneakers startup, digitally native. Prior to that, I was doing marketing things at Outdoor Voices, Amazon, and Brooks Brothers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Leslie Emmons-Berthet. I'm the VP of Marketing at FabFitFun. We're a women's lifestyle membership, probably best known for our subscription box that we send to women 4 times a year of full-size, amazing merchandise. We also have a very vibrant community in FabFitFun TV, which is a great destination for really awesome content.
Hi, I'm Christina Augustine. I'm Chief Customer Officer at Bloomreach. We do open source headless content management systems as well as machine learning, AI-driven algorithms for search, categories, SEO. So excited to be here.
I'm Sarmit Sagir. I run acquisition at Adore Me. We are a direct-to-consumer lingerie brand offering a variety of sizes and new styles every month.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start first with search. Very mature channel. Tough in a lot of ways. I want to understand from you guys what you've been doing on search in the last 12 months to find any incremental improvement or advantage. So talk to me about what you've been doing on search. What have you tried? How's it working?
I can go.
Someone's got to. It's the hard one.
It's so tricky because it feels like table stakes now, and especially at a sure, we're spending more money than we were year over year, right?
Yep.
But as a percentage of the overall budget, search is remaining pretty small and a slim part of that budget. We occasionally figure out a way, or our agency partners help us figure out a way to hack a feed. You know, there's some field that maybe Google's not monitoring as well as they should. And then we see incremental gains. But for us, it's been checking off the boxes and making sure that we're doing all the things that we need to be doing.
Yep. Sarmit, I know you've talked about trying to duke it out in search. What have you guys tried, and have you found anything that's worked?
So for us, we haven't really had a lot of success trying to scale search.
Okay.
But where we have had some success this year is on ROI, and that's mostly been driven by improvements in our landing page experience. Obviously, the CPC gets cheaper as well, but also we're converting more people, so that's really helped us. We are in a category where we're getting sort of a lot of competition for new brands that are that offer a much cheaper price point, but a much lower quality product as well. And it's, especially for shopping, it becomes really hard to compete with the cheaper price point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mature channel costs are always going to rise. And one of the only ways to combat that is to make site conversion rate better.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Christy, you guys work with brands all the time doing this. Give me your top 3 tips of what people should actually motivate to spend time on.
Absolutely.
To fix site conversion.
Tactically.
Yes.
And if you like these ideas, our SEO expert guru has a table at the round table next. So you should absolutely see him. But number 1, performance. Your site needs to perform well, period. You bring people in and your site takes too long to load, they're bouncing. You're not getting any conversion rate from that. So, you know, you'll probably hear me say performance again later. It's one of those things, certainly, as you all get ready to go into holiday, that usually ends up being the last thing to look at. Can I run a few performance tests? But it should absolutely be the first thing. So regardless of Bloomreach or any other technology, make sure you're running those performance tests. Second is Google is always innovating. So we have seen that images are playing a much bigger place in Google, particularly with SEO. So we have some customers in particular have seen 10 to 15% conversion rate improvement from SEO by adding an image sitemap. So if you go to Google now and you do your searches and you're on mobile and you scroll because you've got the product, their product shopping, and then you have Q&A and reviews, and you get to SEO, there's images now that you can put in there. The images, obviously we're all visual shoppers, so I'm gonna clue in more when I've got a picture or something that shows me other than the text that I'm not reading. And it improves your real estate. So now I'm on mobile, I've got half the screen that is dedicated to me, not just the title and a little bit of a description. And so those image sitemaps can really make a difference, not only to the click-through rate, but the real estate that you're gonna get on that already demanding page. So, you know, the last tip that I would leave with is you all do such a great job of thinking about your customers and your users and what's their customer journey look like and their conversion rate. You need to think about Google as an autonomous user, as a customer. 30% of your traffic's coming from Google. Make sure that you're thinking about what Google can discover, what in-linking that you have, what's your sitemap look like for Google in particular, as well as your top, 20% of customers.
Okay, I think that's right. For us, I think we've discussed before, I don't want to repeat what everybody said, but right. Google mature channel, it's definitely table stakes. So I think to your point, taking advantage of new products as they come out with Google, but we're not the traditional e-commerce retailer, and so it tends to be less of our spend. It grows just like everything else grows, but as a percentage of spend, low. But we definitely want to own the page, and from a brand perspective, we focus on that, but tend to focus on more conversion rate optimization once on site.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would guess everybody would agree with that, and I agree performance is king. I think that's a really important point. Okay, we're gonna move on to video, where I think there's more hope. So I think video seems to be quickly becoming the atomic unit of the internet, and consumers have shifted to some degree to video first, at least video equal. So I'd love to understand to what degree you guys have shifted as content producers to video first or video equal. And I wanna know like everything that you're doing on video. So what channels are you working on? What is your playbook per channel in terms of what types of videos are working? What kind of results are you getting? What kind of scale are you getting versus your other channels? And what's your production process in the sense of like, have you been able to find a way to create video quickly and cheaply month after month after month? So video.
That is a lot. You're gonna have to remind me the bullet points.
I will.
Yeah, cheat sheet, okay. Yeah, I can talk for FabFitFun. So definitely have taken advantage of the switch to video or the movement more to video. I'd say directly to your question, the majority of our ads are actually video. So definitely over 50% utilizing video assets across all different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Snap, I mean everywhere, right? YouTube, everything. And I would say in general, for us it's really important for the video, I get the question a lot, to what extent can you recycle video and recycle content in general across different platforms? And I'd say, while we do big shoots at the beginning of our seasons and whatnot, we're always cutting those in different ways and thinking about how you can really make the video native to whatever platform you're on. And I found that is really, really the key. So just, creating something and splashing it out to all your channels isn't gonna get the ROI that you really want. Certainly on Snap versus on Instagram, it's just a much different aesthetic. But I'd say it's definitely something that we're utilizing and seeing a lot of returns. I think a lot of different advertisers and brands are seeing that as well. So to your scale, I'd say video is definitely a greater part of my split. But then as everyone switches to video, you can't forget the more static images and whatnot, because we see a lot of efficiency there. But scale as inventory opens up on various video platforms.
Yep, and you guys, I think, have been more adventuresome than most and successful in terms of driving that asset diversification and getting across channels too. So I'd love to understand how much spend can you put on Snapchat and video and YouTube versus like a Facebook, and how different do those, is that a separate set of videos or you're just recutting and adapting them?
It's definitely a separate set of videos.
Okay.
So in terms of, sorry, when you say spend?
Well, yeah, so what's the scale? How much can you spend on a Snapchat video, advertising, versus a Facebook, or on YouTube versus Facebook? Can it be as big of a channel
I would say absolutely.
Really?
Right? It depends on your scale. I would say the majority of our spend is on, Facebook and Instagram, but we're spending a lot of money. So I think if I were to tell you what we spend on Snap, it's definitely sizable.
Okay.
It is definitely worth your time to test that channel and iterate, because you can definitely make Snap work.
That's awesome. And you don't hear that a lot. I think that's really unique. And you guys aren't targeting 16-year-olds. I mean, what kind of demographic are you finding over there?
That's a good question. Yeah, so on Snap specifically?
Yeah.
So you definitely find, at our price point, so we're $50, 4 times a year. So it's not a cheap product by any means. And so our members span, all ages, and we're really, really proud of that. I think traditionally Snap gets, they're seen as being a younger audience, and I'd say we've definitely found that. But that doesn't mean that they're not buying as well. And it doesn't mean that there aren't also, the more mature range of the demographic on there. It might be smaller for Snap, but these are still huge platforms. And so we're constantly thinking, across everything that we do, how can we be more inclusive on every, check every box, inclusive in all areas. So speaking about Snap in general, specifically, how can we show and how can we test different things that are going to reach that more mature audience on Snap? That definitely does exist. I'd say it's still a huge opportunity for us, but we've done lift studies with Snap and working with them, and the audience is there.
Okay, that's really encouraging. Guys, who else? What else are you guys doing that's really working on video? What channels are working the best in terms of direct ROI, and what exactly are the videos that are working?
Go ahead.
Well, we've experimented with OTT and YouTube, which you heard a little bit about yesterday, and I think that's an interesting channel to start to explore again, because the attribution and understanding the ROI is improving. I think it was Tom from Chubby's yesterday was talking about how those upper funnel brand channels like TV are having to compete with Facebook and Instagram on the metrics front. So you can get in there and have a conversation with your broader marketing team about incorporating more of that into the mix. It's also for the younger, scrappy, digitally native startups. You're not spending $200,000 on a media buy. You're not locking yourself in. You can play around on TV for a lot less today, and it's much more targeted too.
Okay.
So you can narrow in on demographics and more to your customer cohort, right?
So what's the minimum spend on OTT, for example?
Well, it'll depend on the channel, but you could get in them for $30K.
Okay.
Right? And God, aren't we spending at least $30K a day on Facebook anyway?
Right.
Right? And we all want to diversify our channel mix, so it's easier to carve that out as a test, I think.
Okay. And how much do you have to spend on a video? Like, how high production value does it have to be?
That's a great question. I think one of the more interesting things that I've seen recently that we've done is we had one of those frank heart-to-hearts with marketing and creative. And
those are fun.
Which are fun. I have my foot in both camps because I grew up on the creative side. But having a conversation about what video technically is, right? Can we take editorial images and make a GIF out of it and then make it into a color block story for an Insta story ad? Sure. Like if you can get everybody on the same page. Also, you change the way you brief. Your briefs might be an email marketing brief that then you added on the social ads for, and then now there's just a notes section. And so if you're just turning over a brief to the creative team that says video, that's really tough. They don't know what to do with that. They also may not have the same level of expertise, right? Your graphic designer who's doing fantastic email marketing for you may not be a video editor. So maybe you need to go out. So we had that conversation, figured out that we needed to use external resources, right? And also put quite a bit of onus on the marketing team to identify optimizations that needed to happen for the different cuts in advance. So instead of going back to the creative team and saying, hey, could you make us a cut for YouTube, a 6-second video hit, right? And they go, well, okay, that's a 1.5 minute video that we shot. What do you want? They can think about it in advance and actually shoot that way in advance, right?
No, I think some of the logistics around that actually are hard to tackle for a lot of teams. But Sarmad, you guys I know have been very successful with Instagram stories. I know unboxing's been a big part of that. I want to talk specifically about what these videos are that are working. And Leslie, I want to come back to Snapchat too and talk about influencers and what the content is that's working across the channels that you guys are doing. But starting with IG stories, what are you guys doing that's working?
So most of what works for us is very product focused, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
it is very product focused stuff. Like even still images, lifestyle images don't really move the needle for us, but product focused, product images do really well for us.
Okay.
For Instagram stories, it's sort of a mixed stories. No pun intended there. So unboxing does well, product gifts do well.
Okay.
We recently had a video that did amazingly well in terms of driving traffic, but did not convert at all,
Yep.
which was basically a model just walking around in our product. She shot it herself and she sent it, tagged us out of
well.
it. Yeah, that did really well for us.
Eye candy.
But didn't convert any. But,
Right.
so like we need both. So click-through rate was outstanding, 6%. Great. One sale. Okay. So
That's why you test.
yeah, exactly.
Test. We learned.
But our best performing sort of across platform, with the exception of TV, the best performing content is always unboxing.
Unboxing.
Yeah.
Always unboxing.
Yeah, so far.
Leslie, you guys doing?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
yes,
you guys are doing
unboxings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Two different things. A lot of the same, a lot of our creative tends to be very product forward. We're having some interesting conversations around, brand, these more branded and lifestyle shots and how those play a role. I think that it definitely does play a role, but it's harder to measure, right? But I think the reason that unboxings work so well for us is that there's so much to our product, and so it's hard to tell that story in one ad. And I think that's also why we've seen a lot of success in video, because we are, able to tell more of a story, able to show you more about who we are and what we're about. And so that's why we go to that video time and time again. And I think just going back to what you said about, defining what a video is, I just thought that was a great place to talk about, yes, what is video? We run the gamut between, these larger editorial shoots and getting, more leverage for it. So how can you cut it? And then also, how can you build an acquisition to that? And how can we get more bang for our buck with everything that we do? But sometimes it could be working with a graphic designer and taking your still images and making a video out of that. And we've even had, people, we have an amazing creative team, but we've also had people on the marketing team who are actually putting up the ads who say, you know what, I just want to get this done. They take out their iPhone and then they start, or whatever their phone is, and start, doing their own images and scrolling over. And we've seen great success with that. So I would just say, when you're trying to define what video is, right, just be creative. There's a lot that you can do.
Yep. And I know you guys have all worked with influencers. I'm curious, do you use influencer videos as ads? And are those unboxing, or what are those exactly? How long are they? Even how much do you have to pay them to do it? I'm just curious if someone wants to create influencer content for video, how to approach that.
The pricing model can vary quite a bit, depending on, of course, their level of following, and then the assets that you're asking for, and then the media support of it afterwards. Are they promoting it, right? Or are you just consuming the video and then promoting it yourself? I do think there's something to be said about, at least for us, we've used review videos from similar to unboxing, actually, to continue on this theme. It's an unboxing video, except they're reviewing the video. That content seems to work better, longer form, specifically on YouTube.
Like how long?
2-3 minutes, I've seen.
Yeah.
I think for length for us, it just, honestly, it depends. We found that, the influencer, we call them our FabFitFun partners, they know. So we don't really give them direction in terms of how long.
Yeah.
They know their audience best, and so we put a lot of trust in them to, talk to your audience, tell them about us. And so we focus on making sure that the influencers that we work with really, really know our brand really, really well, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of moved beyond, here are the talking points, to, are you a member? And we want to make sure that we bring all of our partners who work with us, so influencers specifically, into the fold and make sure that they really understand the model so that they can accurately, highlight that to, their audience.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Let's see how we're doing on time. So, what about video on landing pages? Have you guys moved video into PDPs? Christy, I know you guys test this a lot. That's something that we always debate. Like, is a video going to do better on a PDP or on a collection page or wherever it belongs in the site? Have you guys ever tested conversion rates around video versus images?
Yes.
What happened?
Site load speed is impacted.
Performance.
It's performance.
Good point.
So unfortunately, it just underperformed.
Right.
Right.
Interesting.
Love you.
Yeah.
But
I think you have to weigh that against what you're trying to do, right? So yes, if it's on your homepage and yes, you might have, it might bring down performance and that's not worth it. So maybe you can tell a story better with images or text or in the ad or whatever. But we found a lot of success using various mini explainer videos throughout the site.
Okay.
And it's not so much, it is a conversion, but it's already when you're in the fold, right? Like one of the things that we do is customize. So you go and you talk about customize, or when we want to, where you can go and customize your box. So we'll do in-depth product videos that explain and do close-ups. And we did that because, we heard from our community. We have a great one-on-one relationship with our community. They tell us what they want. Like they'll literally go in and say, hey, I see you're selling this product. Can you tell us a little bit more, right? We'll have our team go actually shoot the product and then load that into our community. So it's not always like on our main website.
Yeah.
But then we do have a place where we can load that content for them to see. And then on the content, we might want different like upgrades or something like that. So that's when you're upgrading from a seasonal member to, like prepaying for a year. We'll do things like, show them the product, show them exactly what they'll get, show them the benefits of why they should do that. And sometimes that's easier to tell that story in a video.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like a conversion where I'm trying to get your credit card. It's a conversion where I'm trying to get you to take a certain action. And so video allows me to better tell you that narrative.
That's interesting.
I think that's really great. I agree on the performance point. One point I would make related to that is we saw several of our customers a couple years ago go gangbusters with videos, particularly on product pages. Let me show how the dress moves as someone wears it. And they all ran into these performance issues and they all came down. But now with the ability of most websites to scale with the cloud, they're coming back. They're coming back where, number one, you have to view your product page as a landing page. So every page on your website is a landing page now. You don't know if the influencer that you did not know was going to create this video is going to drive traffic to a particular product page, or if someone's going to come to your home page. So having that rich content on the product page and viewing that as a landing page, not just the page that they're trying to find as much information, is really important. And more video is coming about because of the ability to scale that infrastructure. I think the other thing we're seeing people do is as short as possible. So the entire next generation is really being trained by TikTok, that you've got, a few second video, short span, you've entertained me. How can you leverage that? And so we're seeing shorter videos show up there as well, which all addresses this performance issue.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay, so before we leave video, YouTube, really quickly, when you talk about a 2 to 3 minute YouTube ad, are we talking about an ad, or what exactly are you guys doing on YouTube? If someone, should everybody be on YouTube as an advertising channel? Is that like a no-brainer?
I'd say you should absolutely test YouTube. You should test YouTube and see what you can do to make it work.
Agreed.
Okay.
Completely. And they offer so many the brand lift studies now with much lower thresholds. You can really get some interesting insights.
Yeah, a lot of these platforms are. So they're willing to work with you because they're vested, obviously, in proving out their own platforms. And so that's been one of the most interesting things I've seen happen over the last couple of years.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we might come back to channel diversification because we are going to talk about social. So starting with Facebook and Instagram, I just want to kind of go down the line and hear from you guys quickly. Are you spending more or less on Facebook and Instagram this year versus last year? And are the returns same, better, worse?
More, but asterisk. Hyper-growth startup.
Right.
So more year over year, but as a percentage, less to the total marketing dollar.
Interesting. Okay.
And efficiency is worse
Okay.
year over year.
Yep.
I would largely agree with what you said. I mean, definitely more, but it's also by design. Again, hyper growth, lots of growth, and I wouldn't like the KPIs are still great, but we are by design willing to accept slightly higher KPIs to get that growth. So it's just a push and pull like anything else.
Yep.
For us, it's about the same, but our CPAs are better and the customer lifetime value is better. So.
Okay. And so the CPAs being better, what have you done to improve those?
So I think there are two things. One is we've actually started to be a lot more rigorous about testing, and then the other thing that we're doing is focus a lot more on sort of conversions and messaging, and then some of the newer, like Instagram stories has helped us. Our spend is shifting a little bit more towards Instagram, so also that's helping us as well.
Okay.
And then also we started optimizing to one-day click, one-day view, so that's really helped us as well.
Okay, so you're constantly experimenting with optimization, variables, and creative.
I don't think you can not, if you're, at least for my team, at least every week we've got at least 2 to 3 tests going every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
At
guys
least.
as
Constantly.
committed? Yeah.
Yeah, constantly testing, and then in order to help maintain that essentially that level of efficiency with such increased spend, really focusing on the on-site experience and ensuring that all of the different landing pages, constantly testing how that user is experiencing grades for the first time.
Yep.
And then checking every box off from retargeting to even email retargeting to the cart.
Yep.
Right? And ensuring that all of those boxes are ticked is how we've been able to maintain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say that's right, bringing it both together, like constantly testing on the ad side, constantly testing on site, and then when you're in hyper growth mode and you're reaching new audiences, by design, you have to then experiment with how to best speak to those audiences, and you kind of start the whole cycle again.
Yep. Yeah, I would guess everybody would agree that, like, you guys are just attacking incremental changes to what you're doing rather than some amazing new thing that came out of left field. Like, it's all about,
Always looking for that silver bullet.
Yeah.
If anyone has them,
Feel free.
yeah, feel free.
I think you just have to keep on testing just to maintain, not even growing.
Right. Yes.
That's exactly
That's
right.
right.
That's-
Okay, so then back to channel diversification. We talked a little bit about Snapchat. Has anyone else worked on Snapchat? What about Pinterest? Has anyone gotten any meaningful scale out of Pinterest?
We're starting to see some meaningful scale out of Pinterest, but nothing not as yet compared to Facebook, but we've recently started seeing some good results with Pinterest. Nothing, yeah.
What is the creative that's working on Pinterest?
Actually, very surprisingly similar to Facebook, very product focused, creative. And just messaging is a little bit more brandy, it's not as direct response.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think with Pinterest, the challenge is if you're measuring click conversions, it's hard to do that on Pinterest.
Right.
Like, so I think our ratio somewhere is, 30% maybe click conversions, everything else is sort of a view-based conversion.
Okay. Interesting.
I think, again, you have to go back to, what channel it is, and that Pinterest is so completely different than Facebook or Instagram. It's just different. People don't some people go to Pinterest every day and multiple times a day, but generally it's, less that than Facebook. So I think you need to think about Pinterest as a platform and where that sits in your overall media mix and what you're trying to get out of it. So if you're doing a one-day click, one-day view like you're doing on some of your other channels, Pinterest is probably not going to be able to hold, a candle to that. But if you think that it's more discovery and people are going to discover and then come back, you just have to be creative in how you measure it and what you want Pinterest to do for your business model. So it's just different. And I think at the heart it goes back to doing things that are native to each platform.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. There's not a timer, but I think we're out of time here. But was that the wrap-up sign? Okay, so just as parting shots, give me, not including Facebook and Instagram, but what's your kind of favorite channel that you're going to be focusing on the next 6 months, and give us your top tip for that channel. Christy, your top tip for,
I'm still seeing a ton of our customers focus on SEO, organic search, as a huge amount of their spend. So top tip, if you're going to do one thing, is go back and make those image sitemaps.
Yep, cool. Okay, anyone else? Top channel, your favorite channel and your top tip.
My
on
new
this
favorite channel is direct mail.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
love
share local media. It's just a little plug, but there's a few vendors out there. I love these guys, but it's essentially lookalike modeling, bundle mailing. It's fantastic for scrappy DTC startups. You just get this adjacency of when you're in a pack with Away and Harry's Razors. All of a sudden, you're legit.
Yep, I love that. Okay.
Love direct mail. Something new, let's see, television. We're very excited for everything that we're testing in TV right now.
I think for me, it's SEO. There is a lot. We recently discovered there's a lot of things we can do to try and improve our ranking there, and the potential is huge. So that's really exciting. And I'm actually kind of excited about Pinterest because in the past sort of month and a half, 2 months, we're starting to see some gains there. So really excited about that as well.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Okay, guys, thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, please come find these guys afterwards. And thank you, Veronica. I think we are wrapped up. Thanks. Okay.